Chastain with the move of the decade. Not the move of the century. I am in shock. I cannot believe that just happened. I cannot believe he did that. I didn't know. Is that even legal? I don't know how I feel about this. Like, that was awesome, but there's no way that's going to be legal next year. I mean, that's the case, and everyone's going to be doing that on the final lap at every short track. Oh my God. Listen, I've had my critiques about Chastain, but what he did, absolute badassery. Unreal he is. So let's just set the scene, all right? We're coming down, countdown to the final laps. A caution comes out, landing Castle, cuts a tire, goes into the wall. Briscoe and Bell, they have to win. Briscoe, Bell, Blaney, they have to win if they want to advance. So Briscoe stays out. I believe Bell came in with tires, so did Keselowski and all those other drivers. Briscoe got out to a massive lead, but there's another battle going on for points between Chastain and Hamlin. Hamlin had led majority of the race, led I think over 100 some odd laps, won both stages, but in the final few pit stops, his pit crew just kept killing him with bad pit stops. And the final pit stop absolutely destroyed him. He lost, I think, 5 or 6 spots, went from, I believe, 4th place and came out 12th. I mean, he lost a ton of positions on that final pit stop and came out right behind Ross Chastain. They were beating and banging. Chastain and Hamlin, they had their history beating and banging those final few laps while Briscoe was leading, but since he's on older tires, you had drivers like Bell who need to win if he wanted to advance. Keselowski, Larson, all those other drivers, they started chasing Briscoe down. Bell ends up passing Briscoe. So at that moment, Bell held the final spot in terms of if he wanted to advance based off of winning. Meanwhile, Hamlin passed Chastain and was passing other drivers and was now ahead by, I believe, 2 or 3 points. He had a 2 or 3 point gap ahead of Chastain. And it looked as though Hamlin was going to get into the championship 4 until the final lap. Chastain just said, I'm gonna send it, doesn't even bother hitting the brakes, pulls a video game move, turns 3 and 4, just cuts to the gas, rides the wall, and gains like 4 or 5 positions and beats Hamlin to the line. Not only, I was gonna give you mine. Not only did Chastain beat Hamlin, he went from out to in the playoffs with that move. He was 2 points out and went 4 points in that move. Not only that, he ran, I think, an 18.8, which was, I think, a second or a second and a half faster than the pole lap speed set by Kyle Larson. It is... I'm sorry. I can't. Listen, oh my... I have never seen that in my entire life. So the championship 4 is going to be Chastain, Elliott, Bell, and Logano. That's your championship 4. But how Chastain got it, I mean, there's no way that's going to work next year. Definitely NASCAR is going to add some type of rule for next year to make sure this doesn't happen again. Because if that's the case, then everyone's just going to be riding the wall on the final lap. If that's the case. How does that even work? It doesn't look real. The move that he made does not look real. It looks like a video game move. Now, don't get me wrong. This race was a lot better than the one in April. Much better, but it still was not that good for Martinsville standards. Still extremely difficult to pass. There were comers and goers, but it took a long time. And you had to get more than 100 laps into a run before you started to see some type of fall off, which is better than what we saw in April. April, there was no fall off. So although it was better, we did see some comers and goers, not to a level where it was good from Martinsville standards. So we still need to work on that. But, oh my God, I can't, I need to lay down. I need to lay down to process what just happened. The final 10, 20, 30 some odd laps was typical Martinsville. Great battling, beating and banging going on. A great battle with Briscoe, Bell, and all those other drivers. A lot of beating and banging. Those final 30 some odd laps was awesome to watch. But I don't know how I feel about that move because it was awesome on one side, but how he did it was just like, oh, I don't, like, he broke the matrix. That's what Chastain did. He broke the freaking matrix. But let's be honest, how would you even, like, officiate that? Wall riding. That's gonna be a new law or new rule now to consider is, do we ban wall riding? If so, how do you police that? How do you do that? Like, that was the greatest moment. That is the pass. Just The wall ride. I don't know what type of pass you would call it, but that is something that's going to be remembered forever. There's always certain moments that everyone in NASCAR talks about. This is going to be one of those moments, what Chastain did, because what he did is an absolute madness. And, I mean, you gotta say what you want about Chastain, but you have to agree that that man gives it his all. He does whatever it takes. And I have my criticism of him, but you cannot deny that man brings it each and every single week and will do whatever it takes to get the job done. And let's talk about some other notables. I mean, Cole Custer was really strong, surprisingly. Kyle Busch, I don't know what happened with Kyle Busch, but he was horrible. He finished 35th, 34th or 35th, I believe, numerous laps down. It got so bad to a point where during the race one time, NASCAR told him to pick up the speed. He got passed by BJ McLeod. You know how bad, I mean, I'm not trying to shame BJ McLeod, but when you compare equipment, what he's running compared to what Kyle's running, the fact that NASCAR told him to pick up the pace, absolute embarrassment. And I have no idea what happened. I don't know what the issue was. I don't know if Kyle just said, screw it, I'm out anyways. Like, I'm done after this team in 2 weeks, so screw it. I don't know what happened, but I mean, it was absolutely mind-boggling to see how slow he was. Tyler Reddick had to retire from the race early after reporting, he said he didn't feel well. Now, keep in mind, he did crash last weekend at Homestead, so I don't want to cause any speculation or try to drum up a story, but it could maybe have played a role into it. Him forcing himself to take himself out of the ride and retire the car, because health comes number one. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, he said, according to RCR, he passed all, neurological evaluations and all that stuff, but it was a very odd situation with Reddick. I mean, there's not much to talk about with the race. The race had its moments, but it was a lot of just single file running, racing where they were close to each other, but they couldn't pass. Later on, much later on, like I said, plus 100 laps into a run, they could pass. But those final 30 some odd laps, after that final caution, that was typical Martinsville. Martinsville at its best. Beating and bagging, pushing and shoving, and wall riding. I can't. I'm sorry if I don't have much to say. I don't know what to say. What can I say? What can I say? Anyways, here's the results. I mean, I don't know. It's not much to really go off of, but yeah, I mean, Bubba Wallace finishes in 9th place in his return. Briscoe falls back to 10th place. Harrison Byrne, solid top 12 finish for him. He had some solid runs in this race. David Gilliland, 14th, or Todd Gilliland, I should say. Custer ended up finishing 15th, not 5th. He was 5th at the restart, but fell back numerous spots. But this is just unreal. I still have no words what Chastain just did. I have to rewatch it again and again and again just because I cannot believe how does that even work? How does that work? We've seen people try to wall ride. We saw Carl Edwards did it at Kansas, didn't work. Larson did it at Darlington, didn't work. How come it works now? Chastain, you are one bad mofo. You are one bad MFer. Amazing. But I mean, I don't know how I feel about this because again, can you just do that now every time we go to Martinsville, or is everyone just going to start wall riding? Like you cannot have this happen every single time. I mean, it's just going to look ridiculous if this happens every single time. And knowing how the playoffs are, it probably will happen again in the future. So will NASCAR police something like that to make sure it doesn't happen again? I don't know, but what the hell? Absolutely amazing. Keselowski finishes the 4th place. Like I said, he had a very strong car today, wasn't in contention to win. That 6 team and RFK Racing are going to be a force to be reckoned with in 2023. They're just getting better and better week in and week out. And for Denny Hamlin, man, I feel bad for Denny. He is the most cursed man in the playoffs. I mean, he did everything right except his pit crews. Pit crew screwed him the last 3 pit stops, especially the final one where he lost 4 or 5 spots. Absolutely screwed him in the final pit stop, but he did everything right. Even after his pit crew screwed him, he managed to gain a couple spots to be ahead of Chastain at the cut line. He was ahead in turn 3. He was above the cut line. In turn 4, he was below it. And he didn't lose it. He lost 1 spot. And that was a Chastain. What I rate this race? I give this race like a 4 out of 10. No, I give it a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. outside of the final 30 laps was an 8 out of 10. That was typical Martinsville. Before that, it was better, but still pretty bad from Martinsville standards. That's something that NASCAR needs to fix for next year is the short track package, but oh my God, Chastain's going to be running. If Chastain did this just to get into the championship four, imagine what he's going to do when he's racing for the championship. Oh my God, Phoenix is going to be exciting to watch. Congratulations to Christopher Bell. It's a shame that Bell, once again, did a walkout home run. In the round of 12, he was below the cut line, won the Charlotte Roval, and he did it again here today. But that's been overshadowed because everyone's going to be talking about Chastain. But what a move. Also, what a race by Bell. Did what he needed to do, was able to capitalize when it mattered most. He's now going to be racing for a championship. I don't know what else to say. Chastain, absolute badass. Move of the century. Thank y'all so much for watching. Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK. Congratulations to Christopher Bell, your winner at Martinsville.